favorite places to be. I hope you've had a great week. If not, we're going to talk about some ways to make that so for next week, huh? Yeah. Whenever I get a grand opportunity to come and talk with you, I always try to do my best and bring you my best. But there was something on my heart that I wanted to share with you. Maybe even again, you may have heard it somewhere in a class. You may have heard it from Marie and Velma. You may have heard it from me even. But I try to listen to that small, tiny voice that talks to me about spiritual things, and I want to bring it to you again today. I know you've heard this phrase, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Yeah, have you heard that? Have you been part of the problem before? Sure you have. Yeah. No need to raise your hand. I know you have. Yeah, I've been part of the problem before too. The wonderful part about that is now that I can recognize it. All right. Now that you can recognize it, things can change. And today I want to help be part of your solution. I want us to talk about realigning our mind to the divine design. Yeah, it rhymes on purpose. We're going to realign our mind to the divine design. So let's be practical, if you will. Allow me to be practical with you. I know we've heard this message, but my question to you is, do you do it? Oh, how many times have you heard the good stuff? Right? And you've left a service and you said, man, that was good stuff. I'm going to remember that. And then you leave and go have lunch, and guess where it goes? Into the empty file cabinet in the back of your memory, right? The important message today is let's live it. It is going to take a little bit of work, but we're not afraid of work, right? As a matter of fact, as the older I get, the more I'm understanding and learning that work is energy, and I am energy. So it's okay. Would you believe me if I said to you that today, in this very time, between 10:30 and 11:30, I can teach you the way of the masters? Well, it was hard for me to even write that down. But I think it's true. I can teach you the way of the masters. I know the secret. How many of you have read the book called The Secret? Oh, yeah. The author claims it's been around for a long time, this big secret, but that people don't know it. I think that's not true. I think we know it. We just don't use it. We don't use that information. Yeah, I know the secret of the ages. Sometimes, it's our view that if we pray really, really hard, that God somewhere up there is going to come down here and fix up our mess. Well, my friends, that can't be true. There's no place for God to flow from. God's already here, ever present. So, will you agree with me today? And I like to make agreements. Will you agree with me today, each and every one of you, that we're going to stop living life from a crisis management point of view and live it as maybe a spiritual master would lead life? Now, I am going to ask for a hand raise. Raise your hand if you think you have lived life at times from a crisis management point of view. I work with children. Every day is almost like a crisis management time. Okay. Here's the secret that I wanted to share with you about how the masters, the spiritual masters, conduct their lives. Masters are those who simply choose only love. In every instance, in every moment, in every single circumstance. It doesn't matter what their tradition is, or what their philosophy is, or even what their religion is. Masters are those who choose only love. It's what they do. It's what they've done. Isn't that beautiful? And I know you're probably saying to yourself, really? Can it be that easy? Can it be that simple, Nancy? It can. Yes. It can be that simple. It can be that simple. Emmett Fox says this, and I underlined it in the book that I read, that he wrote. You cannot have one kind of mind and another kind of environment. Let me say that again. He says you can't have one kind of mind and then another kind of environment. What this simply means is we can't move from crisis management to being a love master unless we realign our mind to the divine design. In every instance, in every moment, in every circumstance. So today I'm giving a call, a challenge, if you will, to stop living unconsciously. I want you to stop living unconsciously. Stop letting life happen to you. This is a call today to live your highest vision of yourself. It's a challenge that I know your soul has been called to since the beginning of all time. Are you up for a challenge today?
Oh, sure.
Some people are smiling. I'm going to take that as a yes. Now, let me remind you that you are always constantly in the act of creating yourself. When there's a situation that comes up for me, I have to constantly, and in that second, I call it a holy instant, I have to decide who I am and who I'm going to be right then, right there. I will confess that I have at one time or another had a bit of road rage. It's quite mild as compared to some that I've witnessed. Trust me, I know this. I even had road rage once on the phone with my mother. Yes, I was talking on the phone with my mother on a speakerphone, it was speaker, while driving. And I said, "What? Can you believe it? Oh my gosh." And then I said, "And that's a nice word." That one just pulled right out in front of me. I almost died. My mother said, "What did you say?" I said, "Forget what I said, Mom. I just about died. This woman just pulled right in front of me. I had to swerve." She says, "Why are you on the phone while driving?" Again, trying to defend something that was not my highest and best self, I said, "Forget that I'm on the phone, Mom. I just about died." But because of what I know and because of what I'm taught, because of what I study, I knew I was not being my highest and best self. And I was able to say, in that instant, I did not almost die. I live. And I said to my mom, because I did not want her to hear again the words that I had said, right? I said to her, "That is not me." The me would say, "Oh, wasn't that precious? She didn't see me." I'm a Southern girl, and that's how we respond to things. "Oh, isn't that precious?" So I want you to ask yourself this very important question, and I might even read it twice. Do the values you serve with your thoughts, words, and actions bring to the space of your experience your highest and best idea that you've ever had about yourself? We talked about this in class on Monday. Whatever you think about and give your energy to is what you serve. So I'm actually going to give you a thinking moment. If you'll take just a moment, you might even want to close your eyes so you can blot us out and just think about us for a minute. What are those values that you serve? Just take a moment. What are those values that I serve? And do they help bring to my experience my highest and best idea that I've ever had of myself? If your first thought was, "No, not really, I don't. I don't have the best values that will serve me best in all my experiences," but you can. Let's make an application here today. I want us to learn to choose love. I want to learn to choose love in every moment, every instant, and every circumstance, because that helps me become more of a spiritual master instead of a crisis management superior experienced person. I'm going to give you the simple, easy steps. Here's the first one. When your thought is not in alignment with your highest vision, and we know what our highest vision is. We've learned that here, right? We are the individualized expression of God, and we are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. That's my highest vision of myself. So when your thought is not in alignment with that, however trivial you may think it, change instantly to a new thought. Right then, right there. Here's one small example. When I separate my little toe from the rest of my foot, I am not only in a state of pain for a moment, maybe even anger. Things come out of my mouth that never should. I sometimes will say, "Oh, this is killing me. It's the worst day I've ever had. Oh my goodness. When is this day going to end?" As soon as I realize that's not my highest vision of myself, I can change it immediately and speak it out loud. How much better does this sound? Imagine now, I've just separated that little toe, and instead of that, I say, God is here. God will help me with this toe. I am feeling better already. What a great day. Woot woot. Is that what they do on texting and things? Woot woot. How much better that is. And I can almost guarantee you the pain goes away quickly, because that is not who I am, right? I am not a woman of pain, right? I am living in the heart of God. Oh, we need to sing that song again soon. So that's one small step you can make. As soon as the thought hits you that I am not living my highest self, I am not thinking of my highest value of who I am, immediately change it and speak a new thought out loud. It may seem strange to you, maybe even to those around you, but it works. Number 2. When you do something that is misaligned, stop it. As soon as you realize I am doing something that is not in alignment with divine design, stop it. I still will never forget Rocco Erica saying that. Jesus' main message, he said, is stop it. Oh, you're doing something wrong. Stop it. Go and don't do it anymore. How simple is that message, right? As soon as you know you have an action that is not in alignment, you think it, this is not who I am, and you put in the words, and you simply stop it. It's not too hard. And number 3, make it right with whomever is involved as soon as you can. I've said to someone very close to me before, I don't like you right now. And I even stopped right away and said, yes, I do. I do like you right now. I like you all the time. I love you. What I meant was I'm not happy with this situation. Right? See how easy? I wanted to make it right away. When I've told someone something that wasn't true to protect myself from having to be uncomfortable about something, you might call it a lie. I'm just going to leave that word off. Right? I had the courage, because I knew this is not my best self. I had the courage to say, wait a minute, you know what? I didn't tell you the truth. The truth is, I have another invitation to go to. And while I really would like to go with you, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth. I make it right away. You know that a lie will continue, don't you? And then another lie has to take care of that lie, which another lie takes care of that lie, and so on. So as soon as something is not in divine design, make it right. Make it right. Now, I'm willing, if you're willing, if you have an example that you want to talk about, we'll try to apply one of those principles right here, right now. Is there anybody who has a situation that they're happy to share? I see you looking around. It's okay to prod your neighbor. Kate, how about you? Okay, let's go to Rick.
specific example, but I have a type of example. You mentioned a very acute pain.
Mm-hmm.
So what about a more psychic pain that lasts over years? Life situation, life circumstance that's troubling, confusing, and painful.
Okay.
Day in and day out every year.
Wow, Rick, that's a really hard one. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. No, it's a right. It's a good one because you're right. What I would say is
I
that
already know the answer. We all do.
yes, but let's talk about it. Right. Let's talk about it. What I would say is, first of all, you got to keep reminding yourself of who you are, right? And since Rick gave us this great difficult thing to talk about, he's going to help me. Hold my hand, Rick. Thank you. So, Rick, I would say, let's say we're talking to a person. Could you say to that person, who are you? Who do you know yourself to be? And hopefully they're going to say,
an expression of
I'm an expression of God. So, and then I would always say, now who would you be without this thought that you carry from your, let's say, your past or your childhood?
the troubling thought.
Right, that troubling thought. Who would you be if you didn't have that thought?
Perfect expression.
A perfect expression of God. And then here would be the work. Okay, stop choosing to be that troubled person. Choose love for yourself because you are an expression of God. It sounds easy. I know it's not. And that person probably needs to be reminded how often? Very often, right? I know someone who had a horrible childhood in their opinion. Horrible. Rejection of parents, rejection of family, even physical and mental and spiritual abuse. And today that person says, because I know you, because you've talked to me, because I've been around spiritual leaders and sages, now I don't have to live that anymore. Do I still remember it? Yes, probably. But I'm not who that person was. I'm not an abused person. I'm not a person who is not loved by my parents or was terribly treated. I am an individualized expression of God, and I am one with a perfect substance, a perfect light. And I'm going to choose to be love. It's hard. It's very hard. But it's so worth it. And every spiritual master would say, just remember who you are. We have to practice. We have to go to our highest thought about ourselves. And you know, I've always said that everybody needs a good spiritual leader, and then you get a sidekick, someone you can bring along and share that with. Go to your highest thought of yourself and imagine the you that you would be if you lived in that thought every day, in every instance, and in every moment, under every circumstance. I would say it would have to be a choice, don't you? It would have to be a choice. I have said to someone before, if those thoughts about yourself still serve you and you still value those thoughts, then stay in them if that's where you want to be. Some people will say, I'm not through with those thoughts yet. So maybe they need some time. But when they're around someone who says, now choose differently, think about who you would be without that thought of yourself, without that thought of your, of your past, and without that thought of the pain, without that thought of the hurt. Who would you be? And I'm 50-something, and it has taken me years. Well, I started changing my thoughts and ideas when I was around 13. So it's taken me that many years to choose love every time now. But I say if you choose love even once a day in a circumstance or situation, your life will start to change. Emmett Fox says, and I wrote it down, he says, I proclaim that you will get results right away from even choosing love one time. So today's not over. It's really just getting started. So you've got a chance to get a result right away. All right. I'm saying and ending here that our life situations will cease to be events of crisis management. Instead, we will experience some never-ending love, a total expansion, which I think is what we want. We want to expand and expand and expand, and maybe even total fulfillment. Psalm 16:11 says, "You will show me the path of life, and your presence is fullness of joy, and at your right hand there are pleasures forevermore." That's a great encouragement. So our knowledge is going to be nothing if we don't put it into practice. Matthew 5:48 says, "Be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." And where is heaven? So let's be perfect in our experience as we are right in here. I want to be one of those people that when I walk into a room, people smile because they feel the love, and I believe it's possible for you to do the same thing. Don't forget your power or your circle of influence. Just think for a moment right now, who is in your circle of influence? Who is that? For me, it's my family, my students, my fellow teachers, my friends, my church family. It goes even further than that. It's the people who work in the grocery store I shop in. It's those people who check me out at Sam's Club. Those people are still my circle of influence, right? It's the person I call on the phone at customer service. It's all of those people. Now imagine that times how many people are in this room. Our circle of influence is grand and vast, right? What kind of influence are we going to be? I say we can raise the consciousness of the whole world starting right here with whoever's in this seat. If you will, pray with me for just a moment. Close your eyes. Gracious God, I know that we are goodness and mercy and compassion as you are. I know that I am a helper in time of need. I am a comfort in time of sorrow. I am a healer in time of injury. I am a teacher in time of confusion, just as you are. I know that I am deepest wisdom and I am highest truth. I am greatest peace and I am grandest love, just as you are. Let it be, and so it is. Amen.